Hey Flamingos, welcome to Weight Loss Wednesday. We're doing things just a little bit differently again this week. We're going to finish up answering the questions about the holidays because we all need as much help as we can to get through these last few weeks of the year. So check this episode out, stick around till the end, and I'll tell you what's coming up next week. I sometimes feel sad that I can't eat my whole plate worth of food because I'm full. Is there a way I can avoid that? Yes. And I'm not being glib here. I'm sincerely answering this question. Put less food on your plate. Use a smaller plate. I would try both of those strategies just as something very concrete that you can do. I have an abstract answer to this question as well, and we're going to get there. But yes, if you're feeling sad because you can't clear your plate, and I'm leaning in because I really do understand that feeling very, very well. I was a plate clearer for a long time, and it took me years to stop clearing my plate without feeling guilty or bad or sad or some sort of an emotion about it. We know, for example, if you switch from using a 12-inch plate to a 10-inch plate, people eat on average 22% less. So you can start with a smaller portion and eat all of it, and then you get that feeling of being satisfied because you've had it all. And I go toe to toe with the Gladyses on this one all the time. I reposted that brownie thing, and they're losing it again over who would ever eat a whole pan. Lots of people. Lots of us need to eat all of it in order to feel satisfied. So what I would recommend in a very concrete sense is start with less. Start with a plate that has less food on it so that you can eat the whole thing without feeling overfull and without triggering those feelings of sadness, because what you're feeling is totally valid. And anyone who tells you that it's not valid, just tell them where to go. Seriously, I'm sorry, I should not have done that vulgar gesture. But seriously, just tell them, thanks, and just stop listening because they're wrong. It makes total sense. When you're losing a lot of weight, part of it is that you have to grieve the relationship that you had with food, right? When food has been your best friend, when food has been the thing that you have always turned to for, comfort, reward, and cope, those three bells that I keep ringing. When food is always giving you those three things and suddenly you can't use it in the same way, it does cause sadness, deep sadness. I think it's a full-on grieving process. So it is 100% okay that you're feeling that. But tangibly, the way to avoid it is to put less food on your plate or use a smaller plate. And then emotionally, let yourself have it. It's okay to feel sad. You're grieving the relationship that you had with food, and you're working towards building a new one. So yeah, don't feel bad. And I wouldn't even worry. I get you want to avoid it. You kind of have to feel it a little bit, or you just end up back where you were. So it's 3A way. You're aware that what you're feeling is sad because you couldn't finish the plate because you're full and you wish you could eat more. No problem. We're acknowledging it, right? Oh shit. I'm upset right now. I'm upset because I can't clear this off. That's good. The accountability is not forcing yourself to eat it and not pushing that feeling down and just, shoving it away because you're just going to end up eating it later. That's what happens when we push our feelings down. But just going, yeah, you know what? It is. Things are changing. My relationship with food is changing. I can't eat all this food anymore. I'm going to have to rework the way I'm coming at this. Yeah. How do I plan ahead if I don't know what's being served? You can't. Sorry. I know I get questions like this because I often advocate tracking ahead of time. For example, if you're a diabetic who has to have a specific snack at the end of every day to keep your blood sugars as regulated as possible through the evening, I will tell people who work with me, will track that snack in the morning and spend your day acting like those calories are spent, because they are. You can't plan ahead in that regard when you don't know what's being served. So all you can do is have as many calories going into the meal as you can. So have a lovely high volume, low calorie breakfast or lunch or whatever is coming up before it. Make sure that you're well hydrated. We so often confuse thirst for hunger. We're like, oh, I'm so hungry. You're not, you're thirsty. Try having a drink first, have some water. Make sure you're getting all of your water in for that day would be my advice. And then just do the best you can. When the food is laid out in front of you, make the best possible choices that you can, and enjoy yourself. Have a good time. It's the holidays. That's the whole point. I'm hosting my whole family and I know I'm going to get stuck with the leftovers. Yeah, that's tough. Freeze as much as you can for later. Make up individual TV tray dinners. I got a bunch of those ones, they're just plastic, but they've got little compartments. Put some turkey in here and here. Individual meals so that you don't have the whole thing. And I mean, if you want to get really plan aheady with them, you can mark your calories on the top of the tub so that you know, oh, hey, look, this TV dinner I made is 700 calories, 900 calories, 300 calories, whatever the fuck it is. I would go that route. Give away as much as you can. Okay, so your family won't take the leftovers. Have you got an elderly neighbor? Is there someone who lives on your street who's spending the holidays alone for the first time? Is there somebody in your building whose kids got stuck at the airport and couldn't make it and now she's all alone? Like, what? There are other ways. There are other ways to get rid of food than eating it. If you can't give it away, if there are no neighbors, if there's nobody in your church group, if there's no one who can take all of the good food, pack it up, freeze it. Pack up as much of it as you can and freeze it. That, I think, is kind of the best way to go there. And worst case scenario, throw it out. I know, and the email, I can hear the Gladyses in the distance. I can already hear them typing away. Throw it out. Throw it out. Your health is more valuable than the cost of any food. Also, and I know the food waste argument with there are hungry people all around the world. Yes, there are, but you have cooked that food. No one else could have bought it. No one else can have it at this point. It's in your home. So whether you eat it or you don't will have no bearing at all on the state of global food insecurity, unless you take that food and find someone that you can give it to now. But yeah, let go of the guilt. Let go of all of that other stuff that, oh, I got to eat it because there are hungry people. No, you don't. No, you don't. There are other ways to do it. Your health needs to come first. My family is all about food at holiday gatherings. I think most of our families are. I think that's pretty normal. Pies, casseroles, everything. I always feel like I have no self-control. How do I get through this? You do have self-control, even when it feels like you don't. I would say, remember that self-control it's not a switch that just gets flipped. Like you wake up one morning and you're like, ta-da, I have self-control. No, it doesn't happen like that. Self-control is a whole bunch of little actions. It's all these little micro decisions that lead up to it. It's not one big sweeping thing, right? It takes tiny amounts, little bits of self-control at all these different stages. Yeah, food and the holidays they go hand in hand. That's what it's all about. And I understand feeling like you have no self-control. You do have self-control and you can have a plan in place to get yourself through this. Maybe if your family has like you're saying, pies and casseroles, okay, have some of it. Just have less of it. Do the best that you can to stay within your tracking and tell yourself, I have self-control. I can do this. Because I'll tell you right now, sitting there going, I have no self-control. Well, that is a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? That's a snake that's just going to keep eating its own tail. Because at the same time that you're excusing away your behavior, you're also giving yourself permission to continue. You do have self-control. You might only have a small amount of it in certain situations, but there's some. I mean, if you didn't have self-control, you'd snatch all the pies and casserole dishes and just sit there with them around a table. But you're not doing that, I'm assuming. So you do have self-control. You just need to make incremental changes to it to just level it up a little bit and a little bit more. Last Christmas, I told myself I wasn't going to go overboard, and then I ate so much I almost puked. I don't want to do that this year. Yeah, that's fair. I've been there. I know how it feels. And I know it doesn't feel very good. And there's the physical not feeling good. And then there's all the mental stuff like, oh my God, I can't believe I ate this much. Everybody saw all of that shit. You're going to do better this year. You've got the first 2 steps of the 3A way down pat, right? You've got it. You're aware of what happened last year. You're aware of the problem. And you've acknowledged it because you've reached out, you've articulated it, and now your accountability, you don't want to do that again. Okay, you're not going to. This year's going to be different. If only by virtue of the fact that your awareness of what happened last year and your desire to change it has already changed it. It's already on a different trajectory than it would have been if you were just merrily marching along. I don't know what happened last year. You do know what happened last year, and you're not happy about it. that tells me that you're going to do something about it this year. Self-restraint. Tell yourself you can have whatever you want, just less of it. Don't try to do the deprivation thing. Smaller helpings, smaller portions, smaller plates, without deprivation. I've got 3 parties this weekend. How do I not eat nonstop and not feel rude? Yeah, it's tough. Tell people the truth. Honestly, that's the best way to go. Don't make something up. Your reason is enough. The reason that you have is more than enough. Hey guys, I'm sorry I can't load up my plate right now. I got another party after this. I just came from one. I got another party tomorrow. Whatever. Tell people the truth. Tell them the truth. And you feeling rude is going to most likely be more of a you thing than a them thing. So try not to worry about it too much. People aren't thinking about it. Nobody is paying as much attention to what you're eating as you think they are. I'm struggling. I need to lose, but my husband needs to gain. I'm the only cook in the house. I try to meal prep for him, and I find that I'm not getting what I need. I'm an emotional eater and an overeater. How did you put yourself first? How do you balance your cabinets for your family? She says, if I don't plan or if I don't make and plan meals for my family, they eat junk and takeout. And she just wants to be the one. No, I just want to not have to be the one for everyone. I feel that. Carrying the emotional load is heavy and it's hard. And I do it too. It can be really tough to coordinate your meals plus everybody else's when you're eating something different. It can be very difficult to balance those two things. I keep a very loose meal plan going. So on any week, basically, I have 3 nights of the week that are covered. Okay. One's breakfast, one's pasta, one's rice, because there's so much variation in those 3 things. And then my other meals are built around leftovers and what I've got in the fridge and what was on sale at the grocery store. I balance my cabinets. Most of the stuff is for my family. And then, like all my sugar-free products, for example, I keep those in a separate basket in the fridge so that the boys don't accidentally eat one of my puddings instead of one of theirs or whatever. They wouldn't eat very much of it. Well, the pudding, not so much, but some of those fruit cups that have no sugar, that's definitely not what they're used to. It's hard when you don't want to be the one to have to do everything for everybody else, but you are that person. I don't have a solution for that. It drives me nuts too. It's very difficult. It's very hard to balance. I think I've said this 15 times today, but do your best. Do the best you can. If he's not willing to get on board, it's that much harder. Yeah, I'm not an expert on getting people to gain weight. I know there are things that you can do to help him with that. And I'm sure you've Googled it and looked at, things like taking full fat yogurts and adding them to smoothies and things to help him to bulk up. Dairy can be a really good way to do that because it's so fat dense and it's so calorie dense that can help. And then you have the opposite issue where you're looking for non-calorie dense solutions, right? It's tough. It's really hard to put yourself first. Something that I do is I'll tell myself, well, if I can't function, none of this functions, right? If you don't take care of yourself, the whole house of cards is going to crumble because you're the one holding it up. So you have to prioritize. Prioritizing yourself is prioritizing your family. It's that, and I know everybody's sick of it now, but it was revolutionary when we first started hearing it, right? You can't pour from an empty cup. This is one of those moments. Fill your cup. You have to, or the oxygen mask thing, right? You always put your own on first before your kids because you can't help anybody if you can't breathe. You can't help anybody if you can't breathe. Take care of yourself. You deserve it just as much as your husband and your kids do. How do I manage wanting all the things when I don't have the calories for it? That's the question, right? You do the best you can to plan ahead. You try to make sure that you have the calories for the things that you want to have the most. You don't eat the things that you don't want because you're wasting calories on those things when there are things that you do want. When you want all the things, you're probably going to have to make some choices. You're going to have to prioritize. And again, do the best you can to stay within your calories for the day. And throughout the holidays, there's nothing wrong with eating at maintenance. Throw those 500 calories back on so that maybe you're not going to lose weight over the holidays, but you're not going to gain weight either. So maybe something that I would do would be to add some calories back in. Give yourself those 500 calories back as a Christmas present and just be like, okay, well, I can't have all of everything. But because I've got these calories back and because of the way that I'm managing my calories overall, I can have some of the things, or I can have a little bit of all of the things. That would be another way to come at it. What do you do the day after a binge? Do you eat less and work out a little more? Okay, first of all, I never work out a little more. We do not work out to earn food. I don't do that. That is not, no, that's not. Mm-mm. No, not how that goes. So definitely no, not working out a little more. Moving more, I'm not going to lie to you. No, no, I'd like to be the person who could sit here and be like, yes, I go for a lovely brisk walk. I don't. I should, but I don't. If you can and you want to, go for it. The day after a binge, I try not to beat myself up. Do I eat less? I'll eat less than I did with the food binge. Yeah, absolutely. I won't starve myself though. I'll make sure that I have what I need. It might be a day where I'm like, oh, I don't feel well because I ate so much. And I haven't done that in a very, very long time. I might switch to like a broth-based soup, something that is going to be easier on my system just to help my system deal with all that extra food. So in that sense, I might eat less. I'll make sure I'm getting all of my water. I'll make sure I'm not beating myself up. Have I mentioned that one yet? It's not going to help. It's just going to result in a binge by 10 o'clock that night. Yeah, that's kind of how I water, lots of water. You got to clear all that salt out. Because if I go on a food bender, my salt intake was off the charts. So I got to flush that out. Yeah, that's kind of how I'd go about that one. Take care of yourself and remind yourself of why you're doing this. Don't keep that front of mind. Don't let that ever slip too far from your grasp. We get so caught up in these, what we deem as failures, right? That we don't keep our eye on what we're actually trying to achieve and on what we already have achieved. One binge doesn't erase all of the work that you've done. A bad holiday season doesn't erase an entire year of hard work. You don't have to worry about that. Don't stop thinking about it in those terms. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. It really does help. I know it seems like a small thing, but every time you interact with any of my content or you subscribe, you're telling the algorithms that you want to know more about what I'm doing. And it really does help. So thank you so much. If you have a question you'd like to see me answer on one of these episodes, there's a bunch of different ways you can send it to me. You can comment on a post or a video. You can send me a DM on Instagram. There's a handy form on my website. I'll link that right up here somewhere. You can just click there and drop your question in. Monday, I'm going to be back. We're doing more on surviving these holidays because I just think everybody needs all the help that they can get right now. I sure know I did when I was losing my weight. I have as I've been maintaining my weight. The holidays are super hard. So let's get all the tips and skills that we can to make this one the best one that you've had so far. Keep trying, keep tracking, don't be intimidated, and don't give up. You've totally got this.